now I would like to show you how to build the feature. So every feature should consist of those 4 layers. You have the presentation layer, which consists on the widgets, all the UI parts, and the controller. The controller has the state, keeps the state, manages the state. The controller then can call a service of the feature in the application layer, and there is all the business logic. The business logic, like for example, you fetching some information from an API, or you listen to information from your server via a WebSocket or Firebase. So the connection to the outside world is the repository. So in the repository you have fetch weather information, listen to this, like all the interface, like the connection to the outside world. Doesn't matter, WebSocket, API, Bluetooth connection, local persistence on the phone. You build like the connection via the repository. And so if you want to, you have an API about weather, you have here fetch weather data. And then you want to save the data on your phone, you have another repository, local persistence repository, where you have save weather data on the phone. So the connection with the outside world, usually async values, like async information, because it needs to travel to the server, is in the repository. So now the service uses one or more of those repositories to fetch or write data, and the service has the logic to combine those information or extract the information needed from the repositories and combine them, and then lets the data flow in the controller. In the controller, you have the state management. The state of the widgets is kept in the controller. So that's the thing. Like the UI should be simple. The best would be like so average 120 lines of code for a widget in the UI, and no logic, no state in the UI. Just simple like a status or consumer widget would be the best. And yeah, keep it really simple. If the widget gets bigger, then you refactor it out. And the widgets, they listen, they have a ref watch or ref read on the controller. And the controller, again, gets information from the service. It depends on the service. And the service, again, depends on the repository. And really important is that your repository, for example, cannot depend on the service. So it always needs to be this way. Services uses one or more repositories, and controller use the service, and the UI listen to the controller, because that way you have the unidirectional data flow. And also you should separate. This should be self-contained of the widget, of the feature. So the best way it is if you build your feature, for example, this feature, that if you delete this folder, the feature folder, the app should actually still work, because every feature should not depend on other features. That way it's like a plug-in. You can just add this feature or remove this feature without breaking other code, and that way you have it really scalable. So if the app grows bigger, it works really well. And also some features have only maybe application and presentation layer. That's also fine. It does not need to have all the 4 layers. It's also completely fine if it have 1 or 2 layers. Yeah, and I would recommend the error handling, like the try-catch blocks. We maybe do it always on one point. So maybe always in the application layer. So we not have try-catch everywhere. To make it more precise, I would add try-catch mostly in the application layer. And we have a try-catch, and in the catch we use the logging. So it's always really useful if you have business logic, like for example in the services, to use logging. We have usually every project has a logger, and we make use of this logger to log useful information to the console. And also in the logger implementation we can add Sentry or Crashlytics. So if we do beta testing or we release the app, we always see if something goes wrong. So try-catch blocks, the best error handling in the